I ain't been broke in a minute. I'm tryna run these digits. Put my little bro in the penny. We hop at the car with extensions. These niggas be pistols, they switching. Playing with bro, then you go on the mission. Me and my niggas, we all on the mission. Focus on money, ain't worried about bitches.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy VeLL, and we're back with another Mobile Legends video. And this one, we have something very interesting. So I'm seeing a lot of the comments, and what's interesting about these comments is that a lot of people are basically explaining the difference between the Philippines and Indonesia, because that obviously that's a huge topic of debate. Like, people was talking about the Philippines were over, people were talking about this person was going to save the Philippines and all type of stuff like that. But what is pretty much factual at this point in time is that the Philippines is just dominant. Nobody is really close. No other country is really close, and the Philippines has the formula figured out. Like, they're not lazy, they're getting it done. Like, what can you actually, you have to show respect to the Philippines, man. Like, that's just what it is. You have to respect the Philippines. If you don't respect the Philippines, you don't know what you're doing. Like, you're just, I don't know, it's weird. But at the same time, I guess Mirko is going to go into how Indonesia is trying more than people are giving them credit for. So yeah, we're going to go over it. We're going to look at it. I'm going to give you all my thoughts and stuff like that. But let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Like, who do you agree with? Do you agree with Dogie? Do you agree with Mirko? Let me know your thoughts below. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And yeah, we're going to jump into it. But before we do, make sure if you all going out for New Year's, be safe, have fun. And yeah, like all that good stuff, man. And yeah, let's get it.
Dogie's statement on Indonesian teams. Now, there's actually two perspectives to this, right? Dogie mentioned that, Indonesian teams are getting very lazy. They don't want to put in the effort to actually scout for a lot of the new talent in the scene, and they would much rather just go for imports instead of their Indonesian players with new talent. Well, I do have to agree with Dogie's statement to a certain point, right? I completely understand, especially now, considering that there are so many imports playing in Indonesia. There's even going to be more import later. I can't reveal, but there's going to be a lot more imports in Indonesia. I understand. We aren't giving a chance to a lot of the newer players, to a lot of the amateur players in the scene. That's where I agree with Dogie, right? I would love to see new Indonesian talent, younger Indonesian players start to get their experience to play in MPL and to see if they can actually compete. Because I think we do have the talent pool to actually compete with Philippines, right? It's just we maybe haven't found them. And so far, it has been more...
That statement right there. Let me know what you all think. I think this is a good... I don't keep a close eye on Indonesia, to be honest. So let me know how you all feel about that. Do you feel that Indonesia does have the talent pool to actually compete with the Philippines? Like, realistically, I know everybody's going to be on the side of their country, but do you think that there's some players over there where y'all like, yo, if they use this player right, if he was on the right team, surrounded by the right people, he would be crazy? Like, is there any players like that where y'all see him and y'all like, okay, he might be scary if Indonesia knew what they was doing? Like, is there any players like that, or is it like, nah, nothing really is too impressive over there that we've seen so far? Let me know. Anybody who's really keeping an eye out, looking at the skill of players and stuff like that. Let me know if you feel like that statement is true, where you feel like the talent is there, it's just being misused, it's not being, they're not doing it the right way. Let me know.
Better players have come from the Philippines. I think it's a fact right now. 3M series in a row. Most dominant compared to all the other regions when it comes to imports as well. And right now it's kind of an indisputable fact that the Philippines is still #1 region in the world. And I think that, unfortunately, is where I have to stop agreeing with Dogie. The point where Indonesian teams aren't, developing new talent. That's it. Because when it comes to being lazy, maybe some teams are, but most teams, I would say, are not lazy. Most teams, because you guys only see technically, especially like the international viewers, the people watching this video, you only see the transfer updates that happen. You don't see the process of them actually trialing a lot of different members, a lot of open like qualifier trials as well. Because for a lot of teams, I think for most of the teams, or if not all of the Indonesian teams, they actually have open trials after the season, during the preseason or during the off season of when these teams don't make it to M5, MSC after an MPL season. They will actually post on IG, post on socials where they're looking for members, and they'll have certain requirements. They'll have a form there as well, and thousands of people, mostly Indonesian for sure, or if not all Indonesian, are the ones who try out for that team. And the fact that they still get Filipino imports, I think it's not the teams being lazy. I think it's just the team saying, or it's the...
I don't know what point he's about to make right now, but the fact that they're still just getting the import, I feel like no matter how you spin that, that's lazy. It's lazy because you don't see a player with potential and be like, we might not be able to win a championship with this player this year, but if we work with him throughout the year, get him some training, make him fit into this team and this composition, by the next year, he should be good enough to where I feel comfortable that this team can win. But instead, what they do is they're like, I don't see nobody good enough. Let's just try this person from the Philippines. They look like they're dominant and they would fit right in. So you don't want to actually train and mold some good player into what you need for your team. You don't want to mold an Indonesian into what you need for the team. You would rather just import someone from the Philippines. That's lazy. That is very, very lazy. And then it hasn't been, they're not winning. They haven't really won yet. So, I mean, obviously the Kyrie import clearly was it's great. It's been great for Indonesia, but they haven't won, you know? So yeah, I think that it's lazy. I don't know how you can really put that and how you can twist that, but I am interested in seeing what he has to say. Cause yeah, I want to see how he sees that.
I think it's not the teams being lazy. I think it's just the team saying, or it's just the real world saying, hey, unfortunately, we just don't have the talent right now. We don't have the people like.
But my man, you started the video off, and I'm a fan, by the way, huge fan of Mirko. I love his content, but you started this video by saying we have the talent to compete with the Philippines. Now you're saying that the talent's not there? No, you yourself just said the talent's there. Is it there or is it not there? And if you believe that the talent is there, that means if they're not finding the talent, if they're not molding the talent, they're being lazy. I don't know really how you can dispute this point. And you're actually going against your own words to try to dispute this point. You just gotta, okay, they're lazy, bro. Like they're lazy, you know? There's no way about it. If you're importing over actually, you know, supporting your own country, you're being lazy.
Unfortunately, we just don't have the talent right now. We don't have the people, like the people trialing aren't on the same level as the people that we can get imported. Optimal route, in a fairy world.
So there's multiple things you can do. What these teams could do is start up a boot camp. When you say all these people are coming to these open trials and stuff like that, start a boot camp where you're training these people. So the people who try out and they're the most impressive to you all, put them into a boot camp where they get to train, they get to hone their skills, they get to become better. Like they get to do certain things so they can finally rise up to that level, because obviously you're importing other pro players. So of course they're not going to be at the same level. Random people trying out as opposed to importing pros, and pros with a name, popular, strong. Like, come on now. Obviously, they're being lazy. They want the person who's already a pro as opposed to someone who has potential, who's an amateur, who can become a pro and probably become even better than any pro that's on the scene right now. They don't want to pour into someone who could become the next best when you see that, oh, this guy's already a pro and he's good enough, and that's good enough for our team. That's lazy. That is very lazy, man.
Imported. Optimal route, in a fairy world land, we would have full Indonesian players. We would have.
See, this statement right here is crazy. You said in a fairy world land, you'll have full Indonesian players. The Philippines can have full Filipino players because the Philippines are just that dominant. They're doing it the right way. The players are strong. What you're saying is Indonesia's not good enough. So how can on one hand you say that Indonesia has what it takes to go up against the Philippines, but then on the other hand, you're saying that you have to import, and the only way that you can compete with the Philippines is in a fairy world land? That's kind of like, are you saying Indonesia is no match for the Philippines? Like, because I'm getting mixed messages right now. I feel like you're kind of going back and forth trying to, is the talent in Indonesia or is the talent not? Because if the talent is there, if the talent is there, that means that Indonesia is lazy and that's why they are failing. Doggie's statement so far, for me, Doggie's statement is 100% accurate. That's what it is. Because you can't convince me that the talent is not there. I just don't believe they're doing enough to find the talent. They're not doing enough to make the talent, to make the talent grow. That's a failure of the higher ups in that country. That's the failure of them. That's the failure of that country. The Philippines found a way to do it. Indonesia is the ones who's pretty shitty at doing it. So they just want to take players from the Philippines because they don't have to do the work. The Philippines did the work to make these players who they are. These players trained in the Philippines and became who they are, and Indonesia just wants to buy the Philippines' hard work. Come on now, that's lazy.
Have the time to develop all the young talents that we can possibly get. But in the real world, it's a business in the end. For these teams, it's a business. They're not just here to pay their players to get.
He really just explained why they're lazy. He said, yeah, it's in the real world, it's a business. So in the real world, it's better to just be lazy. It's better to be lazy and throw money at it.
Second place, to not compete in the international.
And also what Dogie said was that the Philippines has passion. The Philippines love what they're doing. Like, it's a passion for the Philippines. The hearts are in it. For Indonesia, it's not the same. And basically what he's doing is proving every word Dogie said right, to be honest. Like, that's crazy.
Tournaments to not be able to do anything, right? Because, again, for teams, for organizations in esports, the main way to success has to be from victories. Because, again, sponsor, engagement, social media presence, etc., it all amounts to them being able to monetize their shit, which all comes from success. If you win tournaments, you get that name, you get that recognition, you get that fame, and then sponsors start coming to you. And then you get more viewers, you get more engagement, you can monetize that, etc. And if
there's different ways to go about getting sponsorships and engagements. Like, people would be surprised, like all of these pro teams, especially in North America, these pro teams who get these sponsorship deals and stuff like that, like, not to brag or flex or anything, I've had sponsorship deals probably a lot higher than a lot of the people in North America, regardless of winning tournaments or anything like that, because it really just comes down to understanding the business and what a sponsor is actually looking for. There's multiple ways around it, but the thing is, people want to take the lazy route. Oh, let's just play the game. Let's try to win the tournament. And if we win the tournament, that's going to come with all of these perks. It's like, honestly, that way seems a hell of a lot harder than how easy it actually is to get the success and or get the results. It's insane. It's insane people haven't caught on. But, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, everyone's trying to do it the same way. This is the thing. In Mobile Legends, the players are all playing the same heroes. And the teams, the organizations, they're all doing the same things, all going for the same players. It's like no one thinks outside of the box and no one can think for themselves. And if you are incapable of thinking, you're going to think just like everyone else, and that's going to be your biggest weakness. You can't just be a robot and think like everyone else. Like, the people who see the best results and get the biggest gains are the people who are outlier thinkers. You can't be like everyone else. The majority of other people, they're all the same. They're all the same in the same situation. If you want to be like the minority, you have to think like the minority.
If you want to win, you got to get the best players possible. And unfortunately, we just don't have the best players right now in the world. I think that must just be a fact, you know? As much as I want the new Indonesian generation, the younger players to compete, it's a big reality check for everybody who's against the idea of imports. Me personally, the reason I love seeing imports is because with imports joining in, it raises the level of competition, right? Because
no, it just takes jobs away from people from your country. It takes jobs away from the people of your country. That's what it does. And it's you not giving. It's an excuse to not give people from your country a shot. That's what it is. I think it's an easy cop out, and it's easy to say, oh, it ups the level of competition, but no, because if it ups the level of competition, get your country's players together and go and compete in the Philippines and compete against these players instead of putting them on your teams. Now, obviously, this is great for the Philippines because you're giving Filipino people more opportunities and more money and things like that. So it's great for them. But for your own people, for your own country, it's a disservice for your own country. It's really a disservice. That's what's crazy. Because at this point, why put any Indonesian player on a team? Why not just import the entire team from the Philippines? And then it'll actually be entertaining because you'll have literally the best players in the world going against each other the whole time. Just Indonesian teams just fully import a full Filipino roster. And I know that that's probably not even allowed, but you get what I'm saying? Like, if you're not going to take the time to mold all your players, like, you're taking the easy way out. If you want the best chance of actually winning, just import all Filipinos. Like, that's all you got to do.
Again, the imports that teams will be getting won't be bad imports. They'll try their best to get the best players they can, because why the fuck would you pay that much money, get someone from another country to play in your country, if it isn't to actually, get the best player possible, right? Like Irad. We wouldn't see Irad here if he wasn't good. Man's fucking amazing. And with him on the team, it raises the competition. It raises the standard, raises the bar in Indonesia, so that everybody will follow. Everybody will have to catch up now.
So what you're explaining is you're explaining why Indonesia is lazy. You bring in an import from a superior country, and they raise the bar and standard for your country. So you don't have to do any of the hard work that the Philippines had to do. You just get all the results that the Philippines got because you just imported someone. That sounds lazy to me. Instead of raising the bar yourself, you're gonna pay and let the Philippines raise the bar for you. Okay, lazy.
There's a new level, right? Same goes for when Kyrie joined the team, the MPL Indonesia Season 10. Raised a new standard. Everybody had to compete with him. Everybody had to be on the same level. Had to find a way. Doesn't matter if they can. They have to find a way. And that's why I love imports so much. And organizations are here to make money.
I get what he's saying. When you bring these superior players from the Philippines and you bring them in Indonesia, it shocks the Indonesian, it shocks all the teams there to where you either going to step up your game and play on this level, or you're going to get destroyed. And so it makes everybody start to improve. So it does raise things for Indonesia. All the players start to become better. But the problem with that is that just proves that you can't compete with the Philippines. Because if one player can come over and it changes everything for Indonesia, it shows you that the Philippines, it shows you just how dominant they are. But what you have to understand is, I believe that every country has those players, every country has those standout players. And if you were putting more effort into finding who's the next Just No Lemon or Kyrie, who's the Kyrie from Indonesia, if you were putting more effort into finding that person, Indonesian could be raising the tides for your organizations. It doesn't have to be someone from the Philippines. But
best ways to get best players. Best players come from, right now, the Philippines.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, he kind of just talked around the fact that the Indonesia is lazy. Like, that's what it was. That's what it is. Like, basically, Doggie's statement, in my opinion, is 100% true. But yeah, let me know what you all think in the comment section down below, fam. Let me know your thoughts. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out, fam.